Hey folks, welcome to MasterThatRiff 125. I'm going to show you how to play the intro to Wild Child by W.A.S.P in this lesson. Now, tuning wise, I'm half step down, so I've got an E flat here, A flat, D flat, G flat, B flat, and then E flat at the top. Now, there's two guitar tracks to this, so I'll look at each one. First off, this is all based around basically F sharp minor. Okay, and what we're playing is this little repeating motif idea that sounds pretty simple, but it's actually quite tricky to pick, particularly if we're going to use strict alternate picking. So this is a great riff for working on this kind of cross-picking thing with alternate picking. The notes I'm going to be playing are 11th fret on the G string, 11th fret on the D, and then 9th fret of that G string. Fingering wise, I use like my 4th finger for the 11th fret on the G, my 3rd finger. You can almost imagine playing like a little F sharp power chord up here, and you've got your 3rd and 4th fingers on it. Okay, now what we're going to be playing here, it's this little 2-bar phrase, and we start off by playing the 11 on the G and the 11 on the D twice. Now, this is where the cross-picking thing comes in. If I'm keeping my strict alternate picking there, I'd be playing that down, up, down, up. So that's a little bit of inside picking, because you're picking inside these pairs of strings. Yeah. After you do that, you're going to do 9 on the G, 11 on the D, and then you're going to play 9, 11 on the G string. Like that. So it kind of goes... Okay, so because we play 2 notes in the same string there, everything shifts a little bit. So when I get to the next bar, basically what's going on here is you've got this little pedal note of 11th fret of the D string here, always happening kind of the offbeat in the first bar. In the next bit, it lands on the beat. So what happens here is we play 11 on the D, then I'm going to do 11 on the G with an upstroke. Then I play 11 again on the G with a downstroke, and then 11 on that D string with an upstroke. Okay, so what you're doing is you're swapping, either doing as you start bar 2, so you're doing downstroke on the D string, upstroke on the G string, then downstroke on the G string, then upstroke on the D string. Okay, that makes it sound more complex than it is, but really what's happening there is you're switching. That very first beat of bar 2, you're doing an outside pick, and then you go back to your inside picking. Yeah, and the last 2 beats in the second bar, you do a 9 on the G, 11 on the D twice, and that's your inside picking again. So it's down, up, down, up. Okay, so bar 2 goes down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, outside pick, inside pick, inside pick, inside pick. Okay, and that's what makes this tricky, because what you're doing is, rather than this consistent inside picking thing, you switch. So when you put the 2 bars together slowly, it goes like this. Yeah. Now, the way I tend to think about this and get myself, stop myself from tripping up picking wise, as I'm thinking of this 9 fret as always being on like a downstroke. So when I get to the next bar, I'm setting up the downstroke there. Or you can think of starting bar 2 always with a downstroke. Down. Yeah, that makes sense. So that's your 2-bar riff, and we play that 10 times. You're just kind of filling up the space until the verse starts. And once we get to the verse, it sounds like, it's hard to tell in the mix, but it sounds like when the singing starts, we're just going between 11th fret in the G and 11th fret in the D string. Just for 2 bars, and it kind of fades out as the vocals kind of comes to prominence. So that's your 2-bar kind of riff motif. You play that twice, and then another guitar comes in. Now the guitar, second guitar comes in with an F sharp power chord. So I'm playing 2nd fret of that E string, 4th fret of the A and D. But it comes in on the end of beat 4, so it comes in just a little bit early. So you can think of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. If you want to play with an upstroke, you can. You might find a bit more kind of metal to play with the downstroke though, but you're coming in just a little bit early. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Then next power chord you're going to play is a D power chord. So you're playing that up at the 5th fret of the A string with the 1st finger, 7th fret on the D and G with the 3rd and 4th finger. But you precede that with an open A string, so it goes. That also happens in the end of beat 4, so you're playing that A string on like 4 and. Yeah. Next power chord is a B, so I'll go down to 2nd fret A string with the 1st finger. Then I'm doing 4th fret of the D and the G strings with the 3rd and 4th finger there. Okay. No little kind of tee up for that, you just play that on the offbeat. Then the last chord you go back is to the F sharp power chord again, and you precede that with the open A string again. Again, that's like 4 and. Okay, so together that goes like this: 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat, you just start on that again. There's a little variation on the 2nd repeat. Once you do, you know, you go up to your D again. D power chords. And then just before the verse starts, you have something that sounds like this. Okay, so what you're playing here is basically an A power chord. Open A string, 2nd fret, the D and G. Bar that with the 1st finger. E power chord, you just shift down, so you've got your open E string, barring at the 2nd fret of the A and D string there, and then you go to your F sharp power chord. The little percussive thing before it though, you're kind of hitting setting up the A chord with a little down up, quick down up on the E string. Almost sounds like it might be pan muted, or maybe it's just kind of more of a kind of percussive thing, but that's how you set it up. So there we go, that's it. It's not a lot to it, but the tricky thing with this riff is that cross picking little intro bit. It's deceptive because you're putting that little change in there, as I've mentioned. So there's actually quite a good riff to work on that. Yeah, because as usual with alternate picking, the trickiest thing about it is the string cross. When you're crossing the strings, depending on how many notes you played in the string, you're either going to be doing like the inside pick or an outside pick. And generally you want to be comfortable with both, though you will overall probably prefer one of the two. So try it, it's a great riff, it's a great tune. I want to thank Donnie and the Patreon group for suggesting it. As usual, if you want to get the Helix patch for this, or see some behind the scenes, or have any Q&A, or extra lesson material from Master That Solo series, loads and loads of stuff, jam tracks, you name it, go over and check the Master Guitar Patreon page and see if there's anything that catches your eye there. You can also follow Master Guitar on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all those usual places. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're kept up to date with any uploads I do. So thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you soon.